What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. Just finished watching episode 15, The Cave of the Wolf.
They did a good job.
The majority of the episode, I was trying to figure out where this title came from. We finally got it at the very end. Which Logan said it.
I think
right?
Logan said it. I think we're missing out on the wolf thing because we'll see Sapphire do a howling later. I don't think we've ever missed this. It's just an editing thing, and now it's becoming a thing with those three howling. Because they howled quite a bit.
Also, CT.
He does say something. Yeah, he does say it. He says that too. I'm a wolf. Yeah,
and he goes just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit old school CT.
Sure. Yeah,
in this episode, which just enough to
he covers
get
just
us
about
excited.
all of it of CT and what we love of him and what we've learned, different ways of how he politics, and he really brings it across in this episode.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah,
and I mean, we can go through it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So episode starts following Tori's win or
Amanda's
win. Tori got swapped to Ruby. Now Amanda is on Emerald.
Yeah.
And then Big T didn't get eliminated.
Yes. Again, something that really, really is still frustrating to be like, yeah, we made you do it anyway. And that's not going to count on your record.
Well, and somebody did comment on our YouTube. They said, well, they had to do the elimination for if they were going to switch teams.
Okay. I can get that.
Infiltrate and steal, potentially.
Well, okay. I get that. You can also just say, like, well, hey, you didn't. Yeah, because then, okay, so Big T would have stayed on Ruby, and Amanda would have had to also when they come back. Yeah, so it would have stayed. Okay, all right, fair, good point. I'm glad that someone. Yeah, I'm glad that someone brought it up, and because it's something that in this episode I have a conversation of who Kyle went against. So yeah, and I want to break that down with you later on. Yep.
Right off the bat, do you have anybody that you think won the episode?
It's Kyle.
Is it?
Yeah. He looks. Wait. This is an interesting thing for him.
Episode
because he can win and lose this episode.
Yes.
And this might be a first time.
Yes.
That this is it because I truly think he won and lost this episode. And maybe that's just who he is. He can do that and be on this lone wolf path. But I can't give anybody. I thought Amanda was going to come out strong.
Right.
She had some really good things. She had the 24 hours, and you're already like going against everybody. That was good. That laughter that she had in the kitchen. And as much as I'd like to see her continue that streak, you realize how poorly Kyle is playing this game, but you still are cheering for him in the final.
You just can't help. Yeah, in the elimination, you just can't.
Yeah, in the elimination. So. I'm going both ways. He won and lost this episode.
And then I also could say CT just because he was a big figure in this episode. Big figure, that's a weird thing to say. He was dominant in this episode.
There was a lot of CT that we don't normally see. A lot of the stuff that he does behind the scenes is so subtle and not good for editing that they leave it out. But at this point, they only have so many people. And, yeah, he was involved a lot more. But also, Sapphire is in charge this time. It's not Emerald type of thing. So that's what kind of happens.
So coming into the house, Amanda, they're like, Devin's like, yeah, Amanda, good job. I mean, starting with it right away, She's sitting in the kitchen eating a banana. And, nobody's really super congratulating her. She makes a comment about it. She's like, well, this isn't kind of a lame party or something along those lines.
It's at last episode and this episode, she, not the same quote, but she says, you're either going to win with me or lose with me. Make your decision. So make your choice how you want to play this game with me. So. And
then we see Tori in like this red outfit and she's got a cape on.
Oh, boy.
With the with the Ruby team. And, she just comes in with a really good attitude. She's like, we're a team. She's like, superheroes have capes. Okay, I'm not a superhero, but I'm going to fake it till I make it. Because I was about to get, frustrated with her if she said she was a superhero. Because you know how well that went over when Fessy said that.
Yeah.
I was on Banana's podcast. He said that. But I loved her attitude, and she's like, yeah, like this wasn't my choice, but I have to come in with a good attitude. I thought that was great. And then furthermore, we see this conversation between Josh and Devin and Casey outside in regards to Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
And Casey, my favorite level-headed person ever, probably most level-headed person in the house, says, look, like we need to make Amanda feel comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think you're doing enough the nonverbal you have to do.
I'm doing the TJ.
No, she really is. Her hands are constantly moving. Like, we need to bring Amanda on to Team Emerald because we've got wins, and Josh and Devin need to be on this team. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
It's so true, though. Yeah. There was something else in regards to that with Casey.
Yeah, I mean, what she said was just like, guys, whether you like this or not, we need to make this the best and with open arms because if we're going to make it to this final, we need her to be a part of this team.
Right. So. Well, and then Devin had a line right before that about, we have a lot of really good chefs in the kitchen and one really good dishwasher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty good.
But to me, it's like, you don't want everybody to be the chef. And I think that's been a problem with other teams in the past. So for him to be like, we got all these chefs and we got the one dishwasher, it's like, no, you need the chef. You need the line cook. You need the sous chef. You know what I mean? You need the kitchen to work together instead of everybody acting like they're in charge.
That's going to be a downfall, though. If you're actually like telling everybody that they're all chefs and one isn't, it's just a downfall. Someone's going to have to be the leader in that, and I don't know who that leader is. Casey's trying to round up the boys. Josh is one of the fakest leaders that's been on however many challenges, and then Devin has got some Devin qualities, and I think we will talk about it. But can we talk about Tori?
Yeah, let's do it.
You and I don't see her the same way. The cape thing, I thought that was a nice rah-rah moment, but there was a lot of when you said, like, she's not, she says, I'm not a superhero, but I'll fake it till I make it. I think this whole thing was fake. There was way too many I messages. I was on Emerald. I know what it's like to be there. I've been on a final. You've been on a final. You've been on a final. But there was still I's. I know she was building them up a little bit, but there was still way too many I's. Now, that being said, I did like the analogy of Dorothy.
Yes, that was a good one.
And right away, I'm like, perfect. Let's do this. Are you ready to do this? Who's the Lion? Who's the Tin Man? Who's the Scarecrow? Out of Nelson, Kyle, and Big T. Because if she's Dorothy...
Okay. I'm so sorry, Nellie. You are the Scarecrow.
Why is that? You're doing that too nice. You're being nice because you don't want to say Big T. I'm sorry. I'm calling you out. You don't want to say Big T.
Scarecrow. Okay, so the song.
If I only had a brain.
Right.
Yeah.
Nelly.
Big T. Listen, okay.
Now I see where you're going.
Okay, we just watched this episode, and if you're going in order and you're going to argue who the Scarecrow is, the argument is going to be Big T first, then Kyle because of what he did in the challenge itself, and did that, and then Nelly falls down 3. And I wanted it to be, I was like, it's so obvious Big T, but then I started going back and forth.
This is really hard for me.
It's a tough one. I'm not kidding. It falls in line, and I started breaking it down in my head through the entire episode. I'm like, okay, I'll make the argument.
Heart, Tin Man. Okay, we'll go Ty. We'll go Kyle. Kyle is Tin Man.
Kyle's Tin Man, absolutely. Nelly lacks courage. You're absolutely right.
You led me there. You played OCT with me. You led me there.
I didn't
made me think it was my own idea.
But, no, that's the way I'm saying I agree with you. I don't think I'm telling you that, but I was looking at it and I was like, oh no, now where's, because the brain thing, but really it's the heart. He just doesn't, he lacks the heart because he doesn't see like, all right, this is going to work for everybody else. I'm going to do my own thing or whatever else. And that's
I think he's shown heart over the years, but when he gets in trouble for making remarks and things like that
and then Nelson solidifies that he doesn't have the courage, that he does not speak. He let Tori talk like she was the new captain of that team the entire time. Watch it. You guys that watch the episode, watch it. She just sits there and says, I was here, I've done that. And he just sits there and takes it. We're going to do this. We're going to that. She gets an idea with CT. She tells him what they're going to do. He does not have any courage to pull that trigger to make a deal with CT. And then afterwards, he has the false bravado to yell at Kyle, say this and that, and this team's done, blah, blah, blah. And that's a fake courage to be like, I'm going to speak up now. So, sorry, Big T. you just fall under that for now. But it was a great analogy when she said it, and then I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome that we get to talk about this too. So.
Good one. I like that you sprung that on me. I didn't know that one was coming.
Well, it wouldn't be fun if we were talking about that during the show and then we didn't get to talk
later.
Like this
can we talk about like which members of NSYNC would be on Emerald?
Sure. Yeah, we got to do. Yeah.
Who's Chris?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, so there was this conversation between CT and Tori that was magical. It was like classic CT. Just kind of planting a seed and letting her run with it. It
was so good.
And we were both like snickering at each other. We're like, oh my God, we just saw it happen.
If you listen to other and we've referred to Johnny Banana's podcast, he has guests on, and they do talk about CT. And again, we said editing about how much he will just, and you've said it too, where it's just like he won't say a name or he won't come up with a plan, but he'll be like, because they say once you say name in the house, you have to own it.
Right.
So I'll be like, oh, I didn't. That's a pretty good idea. Let's do that. And he kind of was walking with her, and said, well, what if I helped you? And she was kind of like, oh. And then what does Tori do? I mean, you looked at me and you're
right
like,
away.
Yeah.
And then and then she goes to the interview and she's like, so I had this great idea.
And we both like lose it. Like, I mean,
that's not exactly what she said, but basically that's what she said.
And no, I had this great idea. I tell, why don't we work together? And CT just winks at me and we're like, they have cameras everywhere. There are cameras everywhere.
Well, I like how he started that conversation. Like, she's like, I'm on Ruby now. And he goes, how do you feel about that?
Let's keep talking. It's so good.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a classic. So it sounds like a good idea. It really does.
Right. I liked the idea. You've mentioned this for weeks. Those two teams need to work together. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, it didn't work out.
No.
Challenge is called Boom Raiders. There's a Y-shaped trenches. They go for what, about a minute?
Yeah.
Heat.
Yeah. There'll be guys and then girls heat. Yeah.
And then you got to steal 20 to win. So you have to have 20 sticks to win.
20 sticks. Yeah. I thought you said 26. Yeah, 20 sticks. And then you get to, again,
detonate a bomb, make some fire, whatever, explosions, boom, 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 all the spies, all the allies, all the lies.
Yeah. But this isn't, we've said this before, this isn't usually one of our favorites, a hall brawl type of thing.
No. Ugh. Honestly, I would have taken the Amanda route. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. How she just got the heck out of the way.
Yeah.
Yep. Not here to get, I've got a life outside of here. I'm not trying to really get hurt.
Can you just imagine when you call your parents at the age of 21 and say, I got an intern gig for MTV, and your parents are like, no way. Love MTV. Been around them since August of 1981 when they premiered. Good for you. This is awesome. Look at our kid. And him or her is like, yep, I'm going there. They're like, what are you doing? Like, no clue. Interning for MTV. And then you're on the challenge. You're like, I got all this people. And the parents are like, I can't believe this is great. And then that intern, they're like, hey, you got to run this against each other because we got to see if it's safe or not. And I'd be like,
Hunger Games.
What? Because that's what they do. The production, they go through that stuff.
Allegedly, it's more like stunt people.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I mean, I'm sure maybe a little bit, but I'm guarantee you
it used to be that it was absolutely.
I still would be like, what are we doing here? I'm still on my parents' insurance, right? Are we good? What's going to happen? But the things that they come up with is impressive, and I think the elimination was an impressive one too.
Loved the elimination. Yeah. Loved the elimination. I'm not into the let's kind of blindly run into each other as hard as we can. I'm just not into that.
Until you add the drama and the breaks in between.
Oh, that was great. Oh, that was great. So Kyle screws up, of course. He can't understand. He messes up. He just doesn't understand instructions.
That's just...
It did go. It was a Y, Maybe he didn't know. Actually, I can't defend
this
him
is
on this.
No,
he totally messed up.
No.
He totally messed up. The plan was that they were only going to steal from Emerald. Both teams. Both Sapphire and Ruby were going to steal from Emerald. Then it gets to be Kyle's turn, and he goes to Sapphire and takes one.
Yeah.
And at that point, then it's on.
Well, let's also throw out here, okay? And this is going to come up later on as well.
Okay.
Emmanuel took from Tori's.
Oh, right.
And she said, no, babe. Like, what are you doing? And he doesn't get anything. He gets nothing over this.
Well, I mean, he's on Emerald.
Yeah. So he can go to Sapphire.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why he made that choice.
And it's like, oh, it's Emmanuel.
Well, they didn't really tell us what Emerald's strategy was either.
So Kyle's right. They were always going to go for us anyway.
True.
Ruby, they were always going to Ruby, and Emmanuel didn't care. So does Tori? He still gets a pass. He doesn't give her a heads up. Hey, we're going for you. Like, this
Good point.
You can't do this. You can't sit there and say, Kyle, you're a snake, or blah blah. Or you two are working against us, and this will become with Devin. And then she doesn't go. The guy I'm sleeping with is not even giving me a heads up or anything like that. And I'm supposed to be looking out for you. It's talking on both sides of your mouth, and I don't like it.
Well, it gets like, I just wrote all yelling S, and it's, Tori and Devin, Tori and Josh, Kyle and CT, Josh and Kyle, in between rounds, yelling at each other. Tori gets pretty fired up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her that fired up in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was her and Devin, and also Josh,
Yeah, Josh, I mean, he got into it. I was surprised there wasn't a thing when he's like, you can't hold me. I thought there was going to be some things going in there that,
Yeah, because Kyle held his helmet.
Kyle, you can't do that. You cheated or whatever else. Because, but there was the yelling back and forth, and
but it was entertaining.
Yeah, and I think that's what led into the rounds to be like, all right, now I want him to see it. Now I want to see.
Well,
them
and then
hit
it
each
went
other.
to like another round, and we're like, CT, no, like we're still doing the same thing. Like, he messed up.
Yeah,
like, they were like super apologetic.
Like, nope,
like, please,
not happening.
no, please.
Oh yeah, and they're like, Nelson's like, I'm lying through my teeth right now.
Oh gosh,
that he made a mistake.
Oh gosh. Tori was really excited to get an opportunity to tackle Casey, and Casey was saying, look, I know she's bigger than me, but I'm pretty strong, and I think she said she was crazy. Yeah,
she hasn't seen me crazy. Yeah.
And
yeah, she leveled her.
Yeah, Tori went in twice, too high.
But yeah, and she went low. Yeah, she got her. It was good. No doubt about it.
Was not expecting that. I mean, Casey's a great competitor.
Sure.
Absolutely. But I didn't expect it to be like that.
Mm-hmm. And you never resist an opportunity to remind you that she plays in a women's professional football league for 9 seasons, and that came up again, and it was perfect timing for everybody to take a drink.
Got a little tea about Case. Her and Nani are moving in together. They just got an apartment together in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
Well, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I got a nice little view of the apartment today because they moved in and they posted on the Insta stories. So, yeah, happy for them.
Yeah, good for them.
I know. I still think, well, and Nani had actually also posted asking about, how you can ask questions on Instagram in your story. Mm-hmm. She asked, please tell me your IVF stories.
Okay.
And she'd said something on top of that, like,
that's interesting.
Please, like, let's not judge other women, blah, blah, blah. Tell me your IVF stories. Because apparently she wants to start this journey. Mm-hmm. So that still leads me to believe that, okay, so now they're living together. She's considering IVF. I still think maybe there was a proposal at the reunion.
Oh, I like that.
Well, and Nani had it was kind of, it was heartbreaking. So a couple days after the reunion, Nani's mom passed.
Okay.
So that was obviously heartbreaking, devastating. Our heart goes out to you, Nani. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, so that happened, and then all everything else, I don't think they've announced yet. Maybe that that's my prediction. I think maybe they could be getting engaged or already engaged.
They're engaged, and then they're looking at IVF. And is it true that Josh is the potential donor?
Oh God,
I do. I look into the tea too, or maybe I just recklessly speculate about things. But yeah. No. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Who knows? Who knows?
But anyway, so just something.
Just stealing Bettina's thunder. Anyway. Yeah.
Oh heavens. So Sapphire wins.
Yeah.
super happy about it. Nellie is very angry at Kyle. Very angry at
the Scarecrow. Oh no, it's not the lion. The lion.
See,
The lion.
I told you, Scarecrow is more fitting.
No, it's not. It's the lion. Okay. Anyway. Yeah.
Then, following the challenge, the mission, Devin, Josh, Tori, Manny are all talking. Devin is getting very dad-like with Tori. Tori's visibly crying. And I tend to see her point. You know, he's saying, you know, why were you going for our team? Valid point. It's Guys' Day. But she's also, I didn't ask to be put on this team. I'm trying to win. There's only 2 guys on my team. Like, I'm on a sinking ship here. I don't know what to do. And he tells her, you fell for a trick.
Yeah, and
she made a selfish move.
Well, from the trickster, he's saying Kyle, even though this is his supposedly best friend, he's not saying anything about CT. They're not privy to the information of what happened. They're not even saying anything like that. And he is talking over her, stands over her, keeps yelling, one of your best effing friends, blah, blah, blah. This is classic. It's all I can think about is this. It doesn't matter in any breakup, a relationship, short-term, long-term, divorce, or even a business relationship. One person is going to scream at the mountaintop that says that somebody is completely wrong. They're the worst ones ever. And so that people can hear it and yell and yell and yell and say, you're wrong over and over again, not let you get a word in edgewise.
Right.
And one person is going to say, can you just hear me out? Here's why. And she just kept saying, can you just put it yourself in my shoes? And the other person is going to scream from the mountaintop, no, because you're the one that's wrong. And it was clearly like that. And I honestly, that relationship, I think, is severed. We saw from the previews that it is. But when that happened, I was like, oh, this is a classic breakup, either a friendship, a relationship, a divorce, a business breakup. But it's a breakup.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and he even posted on his social media today. He said, if you hated me last week, you're going to hate me more this week.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I was like, listen, and I've never defended Tori, but it was just so classic.
I felt for her.
Yeah, that he just wouldn't listen to her. And that's the thing. She every time she said, can you just hear me out? Like, can you just put yourself in my shoes? What am I supposed to do? These 2 guys on my team, and he's just like, no, your best friend, you know, and then the guy you're sleeping with, and Josh who you worked with, and you don't even care. And it's like, wow, like this is 2 weeks in a row. Devin said, "Play my game."
Yes. Well, and you know, alliance is all day, every day, right? That's the name of the game. But at the end of the day, also, you're still a competitor, and you still want to win. That still like is inside you. So it's so hard. I feel like for her in this situation to kind of navigate, like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And if you really wanted me to do whatever, why didn't you have a conversation with me before this challenge?
Exactly. Or why is, again, less than 24 hours, like Amanda said, why are we not looking at her when she said, if I was that important, why was I the lowest female in the totem pole according to Josh? And he's like, I didn't say it. And we're like, oh, you totally said it. And you even said it in your one-on-ones confessional, like, I got to do some work here because I said it.
Right. He did.
Yeah, again, Tori's Tori. She's not one of my favorites, but she was in the right, I would say, 95% of the time in this episode.
Correct. Then she goes crying to Kyle. Kyle's in bed. Please don't pick Devin. Please don't pick Devin.
Yeah.
And I just kept waiting for Kyle to like kind of do like the gym helper and like look at the camera and be like,
I thought for a fact he did when he's like, I'm not going to do it. And then they go to his one-on-one. And he's like, Kyle's my number one. And I looked at you and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he's my number one guy in this house. I wouldn't do that. I'm like, oh, rat farts.
Well, and it's like, rat farts.
Yeah.
And yeah. Everyone talks about how much of a weasel he is and how he does all these things. And it's like, so, okay, we're waiting for him to be a weasel. And then he doesn't.
Yeah. Perfect time to do it.
CT and Kyle then have this conversation.
Yeah,
it gets a little heated.
Yeah,
it just goes on, and you know, Kyle is speculating who he'd pick, and CT is basically saying like, "Look, like I can't trust you." Essentially,
I don't care. CT doesn't care, but Kyle's like, "You're gonna throw me in? We're friends."
I thought we were friends.
He's like, "We share a bunk for 4 years. We talk about our kids." Okay, like. You guys pick the beds. You guys run around the house. Someone throws a bag on there. It's not like, hey, it's not like they were DMing each other on Instagram beforehand and be like, make sure we have the same room. Like, no one's doing it. CT would be like, it would just be like, okay. And if anyone said that to him, CT would never be the first to be like, hey, make sure we bunk in the same room. And besides that, if you listen to enough of these guys, they know to split up rooms so they can get more information. So CT's only agreeing to it for 4 years so he can listen to you talk about who you're going to snake in the next time or whatever else. So it was too much. I didn't know why he did it. I thought he should have been working a different plan about...
He was the only one that was trying for something.
Yeah, he did say it was like a Hail Mary, but yeah. And CT started talking louder, and then Kyle gets defensive, and...
Everybody's listening over the balconies, and... That was entertaining. It was just a little bit of old school CT.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you're not going to play this game with me, which I
liked.
Yeah.
And it was great. I loved it. But he's like, you're the one with all the power. Why do I have the power? Well, come on, CT. You got and Logan on your team. We got 2 rookies. You got the power, pal. Like, it's so weird. Like, why do I have the power? As he's picking up his wine, like he's just the head
I know,
of the
and
table.
he's got wine. I love that he drinks wine.
I know.
Always red wine. Mm-hmm. Next morning, Devin and Kyle are talking, just kind of strategizing what's going to happen. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the chamber.
Okay, now... If someone can tell me about why they make them do, they made it do anyway to change teams. I know this is a risk one.
Okay.
Why doesn't Kyle and Nelly get together and just say, you vote us in, one of us in. We're picking the other one. Win or lose, whoever wins is coming, and just point someone on Emerald. Be like, Josh, you're going to Ruby. You're guaranteed. Look at him and just go, hey, we got a 50-50. Guess what? They're probably going to, and I realize you're already putting yourself in. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If you vote Kyle goes, if you vote me in, I already told Nelly I'm picking him. If you vote Nelly, he says he's taking me. I know you're putting yourself out there, but Kyle already knows he's going in, and Nelly knows it would be a huge risk, but it is enough because when Kyle makes that
for them to go in against each other?
Yeah, because one's going home. You have a 50-50.
No, I mean for Nelly and Kyle to go in against each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would have to make this crazy agreement to scare them to be like...
Oh, because then we'll take Josh's spot because Josh is the one that's...
And then Josh has to go and campaign for you not to do that and be like, well, why don't you throw in Emmanuel Sapphire? Because they know I'm sending me to Ruby. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is a very risky move, but it's a one way to be like, hey, we're pretty sure one of the 2 of us are getting voted in.
Right.
Because they just work together. And if they vote in Emmanuel, we're pretty sure he's picking one of us too. So which way do we want to do it? Do we want to scare them into being like, vote Emmanuel in, and then so Josh, because that's what Josh would do. But I mean, you don't really have that much time, but it is, you can make that plan ahead of time. You can still make deals. Because remember, I kept saying, why are they acting like this?
Yeah, you were getting really frustrated. No one was making a deal.
Why were they making this whole thing of like, well, we had this deal and now you went against it. And like, you have time to campaign. You have time. I just think, and I hope someone leaves in comments to be like, you dummy. Now I'm talking out loud more, and I think I'm right. To be like, hey, if they do it, it's 50-50. Either one of us are going.
Right. But
now you've just compromised Josh's game. Or Devin. But Kyle wouldn't do it. But Nelly could be the one to be like, you do, and to have them kind of force their hand to vote in Emmanuel. And then Emmanuel gets to pick between the 2 of them. It would be a pretty decent move, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And Nelly says, I don't trust anyone in this game. Blah, 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 same thing over and over. Devin says he doesn't want to go in, Josh too, and Kyle's like, he says, I'm going to threaten, and he did. But
I liked the threats. I thought it was a good shot. It was a little late, but it was a good shot.
But what do you think about what I'm saying though? Just to be like, hey, we know we're on this team, this sinking ship, because Nelson Unleashed on Ruby said, I'm done with it.
Right.
Get off then. Get off that ship. 50. I'm either going home or I get it.
But you're relying on CT, Emmy, and Logan's vote. Mm-hmm. 2 out of 3 of them are kind of wild cards. Well, actually, 3 out of 3. They're all kind of wild cards.
Yeah, Josh isn't going to swing that vote. You're right.
So,
but you still put fear in them or whatever else, and you've taken out they all think a chef or whatever. It is a tough call to make.
Right.
But CT said no. You'll say later on in the episode, none of those guys have done me wrong.
Right.
And Emmy's going to say the same thing. And Logan, he's only been done wrong by Ruby. So there would be a time if you can campaign to be like, us too. We're going that direction. Do you guys want to talk about it and figure out what you're going to do? And then Josh goes, I don't want to go in.
Yeah, and then Logan's been working with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
And then because CT has that talk with Tori, we do have some rookies here that we can pick from. We can pick Emmanuel to go in. And, sorry, Tori, you kind of were on board with that Emmanuel's going in for Emerald.
Kind of was.
Yeah. So you make that deal. You at least pitch it. Mm-hmm. These are the things when it gets down to this nitty and gritty. Sorry, yeah, Kyle, you do lack that heart. But Josh, with his 30% thing, your word, was the dumbest argument I've ever heard.
Well, and that was an overheard conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was just speculation. That was like, oh, I might do 70% chance Manny, 70 or 30% chance Josh. But it was just a conversation that was overheard from the balcony.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I just wanted to pitch that idea to you because I just kept thinking about it. I was like, what if they just went in there and just scared the crap out of them that they asked Josh would go to Sapphire and plead the case?
I think that's coming.
Okay. All right. And I hope it does.
I think at this point, Nelly was safe enough that he wouldn't have put himself in that situation.
And that's probably because Kyle really was like, I'm not going to do this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not a thinker either. And that's why he's candidate for not having the brain.
Going to the elimination. Oh, first of all, Josh was getting ready for the elimination. He was putting on socks with Fessy's face on him.
This kid.
He got him eliminated. Essentially, like their scuffle got Fessy sent home. And then he's like trying to get some courage by putting on these Fessy socks.
You got to represent your boy.
Also, I kind of want them. I don't even like Fessy, but I think I kind of want Fessy socks.
You get ready for elimination. You got to get some power, and you got to represent your boy. What? How about you represent him when he's there, and not get him provoke him into a fight? Again, this guy.
It was just cringeworthy moment of the night.
Yes.
Cringeworthy moment of the night.
Cringeworthy.
Putting on the socks that have the face of the person that you got eliminated.
Kicked off.
Yeah, off, DQ'd, whatever you want to call it, by getting into an altercation with you.
Yeah. Gotta represent.
That'll give me the courage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, they go in there.
The lair is called Burning Bridges. You climb up a ladder. You have to hit a bell. Then you go down and you get these planks. There's 16 of them that are missing. You have to fill in each one of the planks, almost like a ladder to cross, one at a time. If you miss the bell, you got to go up again and do the bell again. So it's pretty tiresome. I loved this one. And I looked at you right away when I saw that there was climbing. And I'm like, not Emmanuel. Do not pick him. Do not pick him. That is not going to go well for you, Kyle. And, we both said Josh. This is absolutely going to be Josh.
So he gets to give his speech.
So thank God that Josh had his socks on and he was ready to go.
He gets to give his speech who he's going to pick. And they go to break. And that's when I say to you, it's 100% Josh. And you're like, yeah? And I was like, it's 100%. You're like, yeah, I think so too. And I was like, he spent way too much time with him, showing him train and CT saying he's the best he's ever seen him in shape. And I was like, we always need to pay attention to foreshadowing by the editing.
They do
it's
a good
100% Josh. And that's when Josh gives a don't trust his word 30%. And that's when I started yelling about you can bounce checks in the Big Brother house. You can bounce check in the Challenge house. That's not on Kyle. Like, don't worry about that.
I know it was like kind of like a, I don't know. It was like a lame, like snide remark. Yeah. Like,
just remember, but I get it. You can't trust him.
You don't like. No one likes being called out.
Yeah.
Like down to the lair. It's exciting.
I loved it.
went on for a while. Poor Kyle, no one's cheering for him. Like, no one.
Yeah.
And Devin,
let that go.
Devin is also kind of friends with Kyle, but he's like, I can't out loud cheer for anybody because I'm kind of like
It's the right move.
I'm screwed either way. So I just have to sit here quiet.
It's the right move.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't say someone's name because then it's out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why Ashley always used to say, you know, if you see someone who's getting close to winning and you know that you've got an accent that people are going to know like I do, that when I start cheering for them. Mm-hmm. So then they like instantly hear me, or like they come back in the house and they're like, oh yeah, I heard you cheering for me.
Yeah.
Kyle wins.
It was great.
Oh,
it was a great
so
chat. It was such a great layer.
So
it was awesome.
I would like to see this one again.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love the groans when he would miss even the cheers when Kyle would miss
when
it. The groans when Josh.
You picture yourself in it. It's
yeah.
like you're thinking about it. You're like, oh, like, okay, you got to time because it was moving. The bell was moving. So then you got to really time like the way it's moving. And then, you know, on the whatever time you're jumping, you're tired. And it was so good.
Hamstrings are tired. And you get to that probably about the halfway point, and then you start, and we were out loud. Not yet. Not yet.
We were.
Not yet. Jump. And they're like, oh, all right. So, yeah, it was good.
So Kyle wins, hits Sapphire with the double tall man.
Mm-hmm.
Middle fingers. TJ is incredibly sweet. Probably the sweetest I've seen him. Says, you know, Josh, you lost today, but it was close. You know, not
Keep
by
your head
a
up,
lot.
kid.
Sure, we'll see you here again. All right. I'm sure we'll see him again too. I mean, that's been very obvious that we're going to see Josh again. So then Kyle has a decision to make. I thought for sure he'd pick Emerald. I thought for sure.
I thought he was going to do the Kyle thing and say, I know I called you out, Logan, but I'm going there. You're out, Emmanuel, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to join, because then you would now there would be no rookies over there or anything. And I thought, 100%, I was like, he's changing his word again. He's like, I know I threatened you, and, you know, good luck, but I'm going this direction. And he didn't.
Oh, my God, and it was amazing.
I know.
So he goes to Sapphire.
Logan, get off my team.
Logan, get off my team. Oh, and you could just feel like everything, like all of everything probably coming from CT and Emmy, just like, oh no, now what? We don't know. Because Kyle's a wild card. You just don't know. Mm-hmm. And it was so cute. So then when Kyle is standing there, you know, with CT and Emmy, CT says, you learn your lesson?
Yeah.
And then Kyle says, can't vote me in if I'm over here. It was so good.
It just makes me like, for all the dumb things he does
He's great
have these
TV.
things planned in his head to say? Does he have them planned, or does he just like have that one like little bit of wit and funny thing to him that he just can always nail it? Like,
True.
That's it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and earlier I was kind of thinking like when he messed up, I was like, did he like think this through? Like, was he working with Devin? You know, I don't know. It
would have been funny, been like, better become friends with me real fast now, or you know, even that. But you don't threaten CT though, so
no. So, what would Bananas do?
Oh boy, what would Bananas do? It's a good. Well, they're so good about now and CT with it being loud, and Kyle calls him out on this. Like you get loud so people can hear,
right?
Because Bananas would have been polling people to be like, Emmanuel, they're talking about you, Josh. Your name's got brought up, so that's a tough one. And CT would have, if CT didn't like it, he would have called out Bananas on that situation. He would have pointed out. I do see a lot of the stuff that Devin does from Bananas, and he would have been pointing out certain things like, you did this, you shouldn't have done that. And Bananas always is looking out for his game, number one, and telling people what they should do, but really it's about what he wants out of his game. Mm-hmm. So, and that learn your lesson part, after the talk, after he was already voted in, Bananas would have pulled Kyle aside and been like, here's why you're going in. Can you straighten it up? Because if you come back and you are coming to Sapphire, I want us to be on the up and up, but I just want to know what type of person I'm going to be working with, because if not, I'll tank the game for you and whatever else, and that you get sent in, because right now none of these teams want to work with you. That's what he'd do. He'd give him that talk.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Who do you think lost the episode?
I do think I'm sticking with it.
Kyle
Kyle won and lost it. Yeah.
I think that you could be right. I think Devin kind of lost it just
It's
because
definitely.
I don't have a better analogy in my head other than he's seeming a little bit too big for his britches.
Drunk with power.
Yes. And I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I root for him. But I didn't love how he talked to Tori today.
No, I didn't at all, and it goes back to what we were talking about also, the podcast Bananas had with Maria about Amanda, and the way he glared at her and whatever else, and she's like, where does he get off looking at a woman like this, glaring at her, trying to intimidate her and everything? And same thing, Tori, he was very vocal, and, this is what you did, blah, 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 but it is a game, and she didn't set the rules, and she didn't ask to leave the team, but she does have to keep a team together. She not her herself, but she has to look out. She's 25% of that team, and to ask him just lay down. I mean, and she gives 0. What's 0 times divided by 4? 0. So she's right, and he just you do this, and it's the second episode in a row. Your game should be this, and it's drunk with power. It's redundant, and it's ridiculous. He's got to do something. How's that?
True.
I mean, it was like episode 2 or whatever else. I'm the puzzle master. Well, so was CT and so was Ashley. They all called themselves that in the episode also. You haven't done anything since.
Yeah.
And he did say I played a near perfect game, though.
Politically, he's done a really good job. I just didn't love him tonight.
Yeah, talk about drunk with power. Manuel's drunk with power. You don't want the smoke, this and that. Like, first off, if anyone out of the rookie, Emmy's winning Rookie of the Year. Emmy's winning. We have 3 finalists. We've got Emmy, we've got Logan, we've got Emmanuel. Emmanuel has 0 layers.
That's true.
And he's sitting there saying, "You don't want the smoke." Oh, he's chicken. He doesn't.
Yeah, when he did the chicken, I got hot.
It had everything to do with the way he looked at the lair. It had nothing to do with that. Yes, you have balance and everything else. You're a dancer, for goodness sakes, and you're going to do the chicken. You've got 0 to your resume. Emmy is, and Logan's got his 1
3 elimination wins.
Huh?
I think 3.
I think so. Logan's got 1 pass because of his hammy, because Ed was nice, and Corey's arms, fell out or whatever. So,
and he beat Gabo.
Yeah, if you're gambling, I mean, it's still Emmy, and Emmanuel's drunk with power too.
I will say these 3 rookies left are. Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say.
I can't believe we're saying it either.
Are fantastic. They're great.
I can't believe she's in the conversation.
I know.
I cannot believe. I tell you what's not fantastic, that Alien song.
I think we need to hear it with the actual music.
I'd rather not. You can tell me though.
But they are good. They've proven themselves. Except Manny hasn't had a chance to go in the elimination.
Sure.
I think he could be good in elimination. I think that he's a good competitor. But yeah, when he did the chicken thing, I looked at you and I was like, tell me when you bet on this for more than 1 season.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I was so not happy with that. Like, this arrogance.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
That's what Devin has too. Mm-hmm. Can we just always give Nani loses the episode though too? She only had like 1 time, and I was like, oh God, I can't stand this. She was like, they're all working against us, but I understand why, because we win everything, so I don't blame them. Like, this is a waste of time. I'm done.
I liked her.
I'd rather watch
sleeveless sweater.
I'd rather watch those Instagram live videos of her dumb apartment than watch her.
It's a nice apartment. I'm happy for them.
Okay.
In San Diego too. I mean,
sure.
All right, so I got some tea.
Mm-hmm. This is what I'm here for.
Well, first of all, Twitter was obnoxious the last several days this week in regards to what happened with Ashley and Josh. In regards to who's on what team. And it was just kind of a lot. Like, it got kind of ugly.
Yeah.
There was some things with people from the show. There were some things with just fans, and it just got yucky. But there was a screen cap that Josh had. It was Josh. Josh was involved. it happened to him. Rather,
you can figure it out. You're watching this. Go.
But he
Google
said
while we're talking.
he actually said that he wished it would have been aired. Because all of this has just been obnoxious, like with everybody. Because you know
now
what I
people
mean?
are speculating, saying things, and then they have to take a side because they didn't get to see it.
Right.
I can see his point.
And I get that. I get that. There's another podcast about the challenge called Challenge Wrap Up, and I called him Recap last week. My bad. Their perspective. I think her name's Allie. She made a really good point. She said, if the person who was wronged said they didn't want it to be aired, that should be honored, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Obviously, we found out that wasn't the case in this situation. But that kind of does segue me into the next topic. So Leroy had this incredibly powerful video where he spoke out about what happened on Dirty 30. And that was him and Camilla, where Camilla said those incredibly awful things to him. Wow.
And then I do need to watch this, so I apologize that I didn't watch this when you sent it to me. Okay.
I don't want to give too much away just because, like, everyone should watch it for themselves. But it was really powerful. I, as a viewer, and obviously I'm white, I had seen it, and I think I even said it last week, and I was like, wow, he had such restraint, good, he was so poised and whatever. When he tells us, like, what happened and the perspective of things that happened along the way and how things were let go on a little bit too long and she was still allowed to stay on the show, like, it's pretty powerful. And how he, like, had regrets for how he responded for years. So, and then there's a couple other things that are brought up about social media in regards to that too, that, yeah, check it out and get back to me next week. And you guys check it out if you haven't already.
What's his Instagram?
It's Roy Lee the Barber.
I think that's it.
Okay. Fessy and Amanda were at the Broncos game together. Several pictures posted together.
Okay.
I'm over hating on this. Whatever. If those two want to be together, whatever. They do actually photograph pretty darn well together.
Famanda.
I know. I was trying to think about it when I was brushing my teeth this morning. I'm like, what would their name be?
Famanda. Because it can't be
Amancy.
You keep working on it too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's the tea. They're all right. Good.
I got one more,
and I can just stop that crush. That lasted all for. And Amanda's thing that lasted 7 days. Okay.
Nelly had posted about a week ago on his Instagram story a picture of him, like, with a broken nose, and I think it was on a challenge day, and he's like, "You can't wait to see when this happened," or something like that. So I'm like, "Oh my god, this is gonna happen on the challenge tonight." Well. No, it was posted on TMZ today that he was in Vegas, I think, standing outside, like, waiting for a car or something, speaking to a woman, flirting with her. The husband comes up, knocks him out, steals his necklace, broken nose.
Jeez.
Right. They caught him, thank God,
Yeah.
but he still had a broken nose. He's, of course, upset because MTV had given him TMZ contact to, like, tell the story about what happened, because he was like, oh my God, like, and he said, of course, the only provocative thing about the story was that I was speaking to a woman.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah.
But yeah, like, that's awful. I wouldn't want that on anybody.
Yeah. No, you don't. No one needs to be assaulted.
No.
And,
so I hope he's okay.
The story, I mean, obviously it's the person that did it. You don't need to steal someone's necklace if they're talking to your girl.
Right. I don't understand exactly what happened, but his chain was stolen and his nose was broken.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Not good.
Poor Nelly.
Nelly T, you need Gloria to come in.
I
and
know.
take care
I
of
was
it.
just thinking, I was like, oh, poor Gloria must have been so worried about her baby. Well, should we take our All-Star break?
Yeah, we can talk about All Stars. Yeah, that premiered last Thursday on the Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. So I thought it was all right. I thought it was a decent start. We have a lot of, familiar faces, people that we love and have loved over the years.
The best thing they do about this is you might know me from
That was like half the show.
Sure was.
The half the show was here's what I've been doing since.
And they use like their pictures from like the
Back
the
in
first
the day.
Real World, and I enjoyed that. So I'm like, oh, like, all right, Casey, do I remember her? Yeah, Kendall, of course, because she was on last year. But I like to use those pictures, so I was a fan of that.
Leah was somebody that I had a hard time remember. She was on with Paris.
Yeah, I don't remember.
One of the only things that just kind of like struck to me was when they replayed her elimination with Kendall. I vaguely remember that elimination. So it was like they had to go on like a balance beam, and then they had to like stack bricks, but they couldn't break the bricks. That was the big thing, is the bricks were like fragile. And you just had to like keep going until they were all like restacked on the other side of the balance beam. And if you fell off the balance beam, then I don't know, something happened.
Sure.
But that was the elimination when Leah and CT were arguing a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that-
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what-
you're good.
and
yeah,
then-
he was. Oh yeah, he was.
And that's
good.
when
Yeah.
what Kendall had said back in the day, she's like, that gave me the like power and like all of that energy to just keep going and keep going and keep going, because those two were arguing. But you see, it looks like he's drinking a beer.
Yeah, it does.
Do you remember back then? I think in eliminations, they like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were just like sitting there drinking, like
We're
having a
watching
good
yeah.
time. Like, I kind of miss that.
Yeah, like
a
they're in
little
the
bit.
Roman Coliseum, just watching two gladiators go at it. Yeah,
Right.
And he's very vocal the entire time, like basically like don't talk to me this way, and
Oh,
I don't know
right.
what to do. So, why
So
don't
that
you
was
focus
interesting. Oh, and then Steve, the hand model.
on that? Oh yeah, yeah.
That is an interesting choice. If that's your like how you make your money to go on the challenge.
Yes, that's true.
I'm a little nervous. I hope that if there's anything that is like could be dangerous to the hands, that he just says no.
That is interesting. Yeah, but I bet you they're insured.
Oh,
Yeah.
for Lords of London or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Tina
He's
Turner's
got to
legs.
before he goes in. Yeah, before he goes in, he has those insured.
Let's see here. What else? Oh, the line that was replayed from, I think it was Ayana. I slept
yeah.
in my uniform last night because I wanted to win today.
It's the only way I remembered her. It's the only way. Yeah.
Same. So that season aired when I was a freshman in college, and me and my teammates used to like say that to each other.
That's awesome.
Like we
Yeah.
used to like all, and I'd forgotten the line until I heard it, and then it brought me back those memories of like saying that with my teammates. I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. So, cool. Happy to see her back. Nehemiah kind of gives an I have a dream sort of toast.
Yeah, it's like TJ had a dream type of thing, though. But yeah, it was someone's got to give the toast, and yeah,
I think Derek probably was upset that he wasn't the person giving the toast.
Yeah. Yep.
Tech jumping in the pool naked, slow motion.
It's always gotta happen.
Just like Hawaii. He even jumped in kind of the same way.
Yeah, and he even waited. He's like, now can I jump in the pool? Like it was a given that was going to happen. So I appreciated that.
That was cool. I like that too. I just enjoy him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get enough of Kahuta's hair, and he keeps like putting it over one shoulder.
That life he's living is something else.
I
love the
it's
way
a
to-
great life.
Out in Montana, right?
Right.
180 acres. They have goats, sheep. They have sheep or something.
Yes.
Or 86 acres. He's a
beautiful.
contractor. He's like, I have a Christmas card, like life Hallmark movie, Hallmark, whatever else, all the pictures that they have, everything. And his girlfriend, no, it looks great. Looks
Yeah,
fantastic. Happy
I
for
love
him.
that guy.
Yeah.
I've always have.
Yeah.
I always have. Let's see here. What else?
Tyler's a teacher
Tyler's a teacher.
in North Dakota.
Yes. Didn't expect that. I mean, I could see teacher, but I didn't expect North Dakota.
Yeah.
He used a word I didn't know. I don't know. I got to look it
I
up.
think it was just more interesting because you forget about Tyler and his wins, and he is a force that he has been. This is a type of challenge for me that is on in the background.
Yes.
And if I feel like I missed something, I'm rewinding it. It was good to catch up with these people and everything. And this is on Paramount Plus, by the way. You guys can find that there.
Tina was fun to see.
Sure, I do like it, and Katie's like, I did this last time. If you remember them and you're fans like we are, you some of the females for their blow ups and whatnot, and I like it. I'm different now, type of thing, and but the challenge itself that they went on,
It was like
I'm like, God, what?
they got to go from like one boat to another, and there's a balance beam that it did look like it was like very like rickety.
Sure.
They all like instead of walking it, chose to kind of scoot across,
dunk a basketball,
and then you dunk a basketball. It was cool.
Listen, people. Watch,
I could do that.
People watch the Olympics. They don't watch the Senior Olympics. Like I just don't like. It's just kind of like, oh, that didn't look very hard. Like
Poor Casey didn't get it.
Yeah. When they try to throw her or whatever. Is that who it was? That tried to throw, and then he does his. Once you guys just slow down and see my basketball dunk or whatever else, that was good. And then Nehemiah and was it Anya? Ayana, yeah.
Yeah, they lost. Jody and Derek won. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. That is very obvious. And I love that it seems that they kind of picked up right where they left off. And Derek even says that he's like, we haven't seen each other in 15 years, but it's like right where we left off. And so that's cool. That's going to be fun. Playing for $500,000. Every elimination is a double elimination. Love TJ on these. He's much more relaxed.
Yeah, Team Loudmouth. That
was great. Yeah. Also, the cussing.
Oh yeah,
I was not expecting that. Like when
Darryl, part of my French, but F you, and they leave it in there.
When Darrell. I love Darrell. Yeah. We see him when he's got the hat on. And Charlie, even like when we were watching it, he goes, "Oh, there's our boy," because he's like on Team Darrell too.
Yeah.
And when we heard him drop the F-bomb, I was like, oh my God, they can cuss?
Yeah, said,
oh my God, they can cuss?
F-U-T-J, and they said, pardon my French, but F-U-T-J.
It did. It felt like hearing like your teacher cuss or something. Like you're like, what?
Sure. You're like, then you're like, oh, they'll edit that out for what they want to show it on network television.
Or like you mentioned on, what was the Michael Jordan documentary? Last Dance.
Yeah.
When you hear him cuss, when you're like, Michael Jordan just said the F word. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Like, is this a McDonald's commercial? And it was kind of like that. Darrell's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe not the comparison to Michael Jordan, but yeah, it was cool to hear the cussing. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. I'll be interested to watch it.
The music's been good. There was some Paula Abdul and some other songs.
Yeah, it's a more relaxed. There's obviously drinking involved, and Tyler and Brad are bartending and everything. And I hope you get to see more of that. More in this situation, if the challenge can be that, I would like to see more of the social game being played.
Yes,
how these relationships work. Even if, I was on their season, even though it's been 15 years, I'm working with them, as opposed to sorry.
Right.
I know we were both on All Stars last season, but really, I've been working with them since my season on the Real World or Real.
Well, Johanna she's working the political game, and she even said that because she's got her and Derek and Jasmine all from her season, and then she also did last season of All Stars, and then she was seen talking to Tina, talking about how much of a fan she was.
That was.
And
brilliant.
she's like, I feel like this is someone that really likes compliments. I'm gonna really.
She said, "I just love you," and then Tina just.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, thank
I thought that was
you.
Great. Yeah.
And so I think she's one to watch for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I think will be more interesting because I want to see them still let loose. And
I know I was excited about it. It was an okay start. I'm hoping for more.
Okay. Let's take a look at this.
Well, let's take a look at this. I have an entire notebook from this season.
Oh, sure.
And I have a note card from this one episode.
All right.
All-Stars.
And we're not going to spend too much time over it. Season 40 is coming up.
Season what?
40. Challenge.
Yeah. Well, in 3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Because we're on 37.
All right. Because that's what number I'm looking for, though. The number I'm looking for is this, the 40. 37 can work too. 38 can work. I don't care. 40 would be the number I'm looking at. Do a couple more All-Stars. We do the old school, new school. 40. You have some 40 above 40.
I thought about
40,
that too.
And then you have to do a 40-year-old with a younger.
Okay.
And you have teams there.
Old and new. Old school, new school.
Yeah. And so you don't have to do 40 there in any way. You don't, because who knows how long it's going to last or who's going to break a hip.
Allegedly, they just finished filming season 3, and that's going to be the last one. Allegedly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I don't see why you don't do something like that, old school, new school. I mean, it is, that you're going to have a situation, and I know Corey's not up there in age. I just think there should be an old school, new school type of thing. Either they work, the rookies work on a team, vets. It'd be funny to see Bananas and Corey work together, because their podcast, they do kind of say like, hey, we should work together at some point. And they're like, all right, maybe we'll talk later in DMs if I ever come back, type of thing. So, but I also would like that instead of like
team
rivals,
captains kind of thing.
Yeah, or just you've had rivals or whatever else, or you've had
fresh meat
or blood when you bring in someone from your family.
Bloodlines.
So bloodlines, there you go. And then, but if you had someone who was over a certain age and one that's younger, and you had to work that way, teams. I just think it's something
like over 35, under 30. Like over 35 is one, and then under
either
30
they go
is
against
one.
each other, or they have to be
partner.
A team. Yeah, partner. And it would be interesting to me, just because I don't want to see them dunk a basketball. And they fall in the water and you're just sitting there and you're just like floating. I'd rather see like, that's gonna hurt tomorrow, type of thing. I need Advil, definitely. Like we've all like taken a step the wrong way and been like, that's gonna hurt tomorrow. I'd rather have that.
Once pulled a muscle, taking out the trash.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want that where they actually get in shape. I mean, Tyler he still looks good, but he's like 235.
Right.
He's like, I'm a bear now, and I'm like, all right, well, let's see him get cut down in a little bit and get after it and put a little bit more
I'm sure he's
juice in the pot for the money. So I'll watch it. Like I said, it'll be one in the background. I won't watch it nearly as intense as I watch the other ones, but it just reminds you, and listen, I lose track of it. I thought they're at 39. It's 37. We've been watching a lot of these.
Yes, we have.
And there are people that I'm just like, huh? And I'm like, oh my God, where was I at for that? Because trust me, I watched them all, but it's just so crazy to be like, all right.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, like even like seeing that, the line about sleeping in my uniform, it's like I had completely forgotten about that because it was so long ago. And I'm like, oh my God, that was such an iconic moment. Yeah. So yeah, we'll give it a whirl.
Yep. That's on Paramount Plus. Check it out. But yeah, this was a good episode. Again, because of the old personalities that we know, this is going to come out. There's only so much television that they can film, and I think it's just going to get more and more. And
we have 4 episodes left of season 37 left of the show.
Okay.
So, yeah, because this was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 4 episodes left.
And then the reunion.
And then the 2-episode reunion.
Yeah. Okay. Love it.
So we're getting close.
Well, this was fun. There. The thing is that what I like about this is in people watching too, you're invested into people now. Before you're like, they pick them off, and we went through the whole thing. They're doing the rookies. Can't believe this happened. But now, when you get that excitement, like I missed it, you feel like you're there, and you go from like Kyle's a big dummy to be like he won. So that it's
right.
It's fun that we're getting excited about it, and there's different ways of looking at it, and then they give us a gem of like who we get to figure out who the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion is. Type of thing.
I'm excited to see what happens next week. Female elimination. It could be anybody. Potentially, if it's even a female elimination.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. Well, it'll be between Emmy and Tori, Amanda, and Big T. So Casey and Nadia.
No, not.
They're bulletproof. They're bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they've been taking all those vacations and they got a new apartment together. Maybe they won.
That's the foreshadowing that this show gives you. Yeah, they're bulletproof. That's who's going to be down between. So we'll see what happens. All right.
Follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube. We are Final Alliance Podcast. Please subscribe and comment. We love to read your comments. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what we got right. And then on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts, we are Final Alliance Podcast. Have a good night.
Yep.